Welcome to the second video in a series that I'm basing on blogs I have written for a few years, and we call it Singing with Many Voices. Thank you first of all to all of those who responded to the first video. I enjoyed your comments. The first one, as you may remember if you've seen it, it was stop, look, and listen. And it was about preparing mentally to be a better singer, to be a better prepared singer, to know where you're going, what you're doing, to train the imagination rather than plowing into just singing. Today somewhat follows up on that, and I'm choosing two quotations by two of my most famous singers ever. One, Stephanie Blythe, who has always said, and still says, vocal mistakes or vocal problems are usually caused by the singer getting in their own way. Joan says somewhat the same, but in a completely different way. It is not difficult to sing well, my dear, as long as you know what to do. Miss Blythe's saying is about getting in your own way, meaning that we start off doing things we should not do to make up for a lack of clear, organized thoughts. We try this, it didn't work, we'll try another. We may do it 15 times with different approaches, and all we're doing is A, tiring out the voice, and B, making bad habits, getting in our own way. Sutherland's is much more positive. Her approach to beautiful singing is through the development, the patient development of mental organized thoughts, well prepared, and above all, simplicity. Simplicity of thought, simplicity of approach. Over the last few years of doing these blogs, I've collected an enormous number of don'ts and do's. And I want to share some of them with you over the next couple of videos. I have so many, we could not possibly do them all in one video setting. So we're going to start. I have a whole long list of various titles. All the titles have something to do with one aspect of a singer's craft and art. We're going to start now with do's and don'ts about how to start. How when you go into a studio, to a lesson, to a rehearsal, don't start with a head full of muddled thoughts. Do go in with a clear mind, focused on the tasks ahead, a certain sense of calmness and assurance that you know what you're doing. And if you give yourself time, you will know what you're doing. Don't deal with all aspects of your technique at once. Make a checklist. That way you can have an orderly way of getting ready to sing in any given day. You can focus on posture, then breathing, resonance, register blending, text, etc. Don't sing before warming up. Have a set of warm-ups, physical, for your muscles, for your resonance, for your breath, as opposed to vocalizing. Don't confuse warming up with vocalizing. Warm-ups are not pitch specific, and they are not about making musical phrases. Don't rush through your warm-ups. Take time to breathe easily, consciously, comfortably. So how can we warm up the body? Not arbitrarily. Have a certain set of things you do. Head rolls, ragdoll, letting your whole spine unfold and then stand back up again. Pelvic twirls, separating your lower pelvis from your upper pelvis. Several things. Stretches are wonderful. What I have found in my own career and in my teaching, the best exercises in the world for warming up come from Tai Chi. And there's one reason why I prefer those to Alexander. They're all wonderful, Feldenkrais, Alexander Yoga. But Tai Chi uses the imagination. In other words, of telling myself I want to open my arms so that my upper body will open, I will have an intention, and it will not be physical. It will be to open my arms as though I am the wings of a bird. So there is an absolute intention and a sense of allowing and not trying. Do you have to take a Tai Chi course? Not really. There are several beginners' books. I certainly learned the ones that I do, which are not very complex, from where I go to the sports place to work out. And the young man knows Tai Chi and talked me through a certain number that I use every single day of my life. So I would recommend looking into something like that. Part of the warm-up is also not just the musculature, but waking up the resonances and the breath mechanism. We do that not by singing vocalizes. We do it through speech and non-specific pitch singing. So don't begin singing a phrase without awakening your resonators, without waking up your breathing mechanism. How do I do that? I do it through slides, not singing just anything that wakens those very important parts of your instrument. NG is one of the best. Do it when speaking, going through your entire range, from your low chest voice up to your head voice and back down. All simply by yawning and doing it, not singing it. Then you can start to do them not pitch specific, but in a singing voice. I'm still not what you call vocalizing. I am warming up the mechanics or the most important parts of my instrument. Also, don't begin well, let's go first to vocalizing, what we want to do. We are now ready to sing. We can do specific pitches and definite musical phrases. The vocalizing is separate from the warm-up in that it is about phrasing and music. Don't arbitrarily sing or vocalize without a specific goal in mind. Prepare with your teacher a set of vocalises that look into the various aspects of our craft and our art. Breathing, onsetting of tone, legato line, easy offset of tone, dynamics, register blending, diction. I have a list of vocalises I share with my singers, or in master classes, of course, with these specific subjects or topics. And I think that is the best way to do it. You should have a set. Again, you should use your teacher's knowledge to help you put that together, and one that is specific for you. The pianist goes to his piano every day, sometimes 3-4 hours, and does churning exercises. The ballet dancer has a set of things she or he will do standing at the bar, but we have them too. Rossini left us wonderful vocalises. Marchesi, a wonderful book of accompanied vocalises that address all the aspects of what we are just talking about. Tosti, the composer of wonderful songs, Italian songs, wrote a series of vocalises for Queen Victoria, who was his student. Manuel Garcia, the senior, wrote extremely fine vocalises, and you can take a phrase out of any bit of your repertoire and do it on one vowel. Don't, when you vocalize, begin with an extended range. Start from the middle of your voice, gradually, and when you are ready, both mentally and vocally mature enough, extend it to the upper range and the lower range. The thing to remember that if you do develop that middle range first, it is like a seesaw. That is your anchor. The upper range is one end of the seesaw and the lower the other, so that we have an absolute setting where we can join all ranges of the voice with a certain sturdiness. Don't always start from one end of the range, the octave going down, or the octave from below going up. Play around. There's a wonderful book called Singing and the Imagination by Richard Hemsley. I've read it so many times. And he has a group of vocalists. One starting at the upper note of an octave and gradually either through arpeggio or the scale going down. But we keep that note as our home base. He then takes the same one and we make the lower note our home base and extend it there. Then, best of all, he starts in the middle of the range, makes us go down, still staying right here, going up, but we never leave the first note. And that is one of the best ways to extend the range, to start singing legato. Now let me see, where are we? I want to make sure I get everything I want in. Don't sing a vocalise for technical reasons only. Do always, always, always have a sense of what you want the musical phrase to say. A great trick is when you find yourself being too mechanical with a long arpeggio. Give it a mood. Say, I'm going to sing it as a lullaby. I'm going to sing it as a love song. I'm going to sing it as a sad farewell. You will be amazed how the technique simply begins to work itself out because it has a reason to do it. It's not just singing for vocalizing's sake. Don't vocalize only on one vowel. Choose the 5 Italian vowels, or 7 if you want to include closed or open O, closed A, open E. Do each phrase you're going to do on each one of those vowels. Then mix and match. Throw in a couple, ah, woo, ee, ah, eh, oh, woo. Don't finish your vocalizing without using consonants. They are so important in singing and such a part of the technique and of legato. So I would intersperse in your arpeggi, in your scales, Italian consonants. Why Italian? There's a difference between the voiced and the unvoiced, and they are all imploded. So they assist us in developing a wonderful long-lined technique. The last thing I'm going to speak of today is open-throated singing. La gola aperta. We all hear that phrase. Don't think of the separate elements that make up the open throat, or what more technically correct is the vocal tract. Sure, there are various things. There's your larynx, there's your speech mechanism, there are your resonators. But don't think of them in parts. Think of them as one unique unit, one whole, that can easily be opened, kept open, without any physical, mechanical effort. So I wouldn't, and don't do this, mechanically try to achieve an open throat. What should you do instead? Use everyday concepts that will assure that all of the parts of that vocal tract are now ready for singing. The larynx has gone down a little. The jaw released itself. We didn't drop it. The palate went slightly up. The tongue is free, and the resonators are ready to ring, all by the shape of that natural, open-throated vocal tract. So how do I do it? Are there natural things I can do without worrying about it? Yeah. Yawning and sighing without singing. Ah. Ah. Everything is absolutely opening the way I want it to. You can smell or breathe in till you get the last drop of the perfume of a beautiful rose, you've just opened your throat, and you've also opened your body. You can always think of an inside smile, and that will automatically keep everything the way it should be, like a great dome for your singing. I used to use what I call a fricative breath, and I did it when I was in high school, and I was bored, and I did not want the teacher to see me yawning. So I would close my mouth, breathe through my nose, and yawn with my mouth closed. And I got an open throat. Maybe I was already getting ready to be a singer. I don't know, but it is a wonderful. Caruso used to put an egg in his mouth. The large side went there and the small here. And he just felt it. Now, don't close your throat or your body between or at the end of phrases. That is something that we tend to do. We take that whole beautiful shape we've made and we've altered it. We've gotten in our own way. From the moment you walk onto that stage or hear the first note, breathe consciously into that open throat, into that open body. Breathe with the music, and by the time it's your turn to sing, out will come a perfectly poised note. Pavarotti always said, maintained, that he opened his throat when he left the wings and entered the stage, and the next time he felt it close or collapse or whatever was when he walked off. Is that difficult to do? No. Just an awareness that that's what you're going to do. Always have a feeling of an inside smile. It'll make your resident. If you watch Beverly Sills when she's talking, you'll see exactly what I mean. So we're breathing into an open throat. Don't feel that you are opening your body when you inhale. No. It's already open, so you are breathing into it. Now this is where I'm going to end today. The next video will be on these following subjects: inhalation, onset, offset of tone, breath management, we call it support, I prefer to call it breath management, legato line, diction, register blending, and translations and text. And the final one will be performing and auditioning, don'ts but do's. I will close with just a few thoughts on mental and emotional approach to your art and your craft as a singer. Don't be over anxious or tense about singing perfectly. Do use your ability to inhale and exhale every chance you get to release that tension, calm down the whole spirit and the entire body. Don't focus on a vocal problem. High larynx, tight diaphragm, tight jaw. Do find and focus on the cause of it. Don't focus on it directly. There will be another way that you will indirectly correct it. Don't be in a hurry to succeed. Develop patience, positive approach, focus. Those who take the most time to prepare get ahead the fastest. There is no question about that at all. Don't put yourself in front of the music. Be or do what Callas always said. Be the catalyst between the composer, the libretto or poet, and your audience. And finally, don't focus on you in the music. Focus on the music in you. I look forward to our next time, and please don't hesitate to write into singingwithmanyvoices@gmail, or to go to my blog by singingwithmanyvoices.com. Have a good night.